because it's pretty interesting with this new Model 3 that just came out. So we'll talk about it. But in this next topic, the Model 3 long range is back, and now you can order it. You can place a deposit and you can order it and everything. But what if the brand new Model 3 long range that is just came back with a interesting model range that we'll talk about? What if it is actually the Model 3 Project Refresh Highland? So we'll talk about it and what people might be thinking for it and against it. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Model 3 that it just got released on the website is the Project Highland, or do you think it's something else? Because there's a couple things that could be coming up in the near future that might explain or sway to that. But let's talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but more on that later. So let's take a look at this. So if you don't know what happened very recently, Model 3, or actually even happened last night, the Model 3 long range was reintroduced back into the queue so that people could order it. But there's a couple things that from my position here on the Model 3. I mean, the Model 3, great car. I had a Model 3 Performance Stealth with the 300-mile range. It was my first Tesla. You know, I definitely it has a place in my heart for it. But it's kind of interesting because they brought the vehicle back at a price of $47,240. But it only qualifies for the $3,750 tax credit. So I'm kind of stuck because I'm not really sure that is a good deal, especially when you got the Tesla Model Y that qualifies for the full $7,500 federal tax credit. It's essentially almost very similar in price, like maybe a couple dollars or thousands or even. So I feel like a lot of you out there are probably going to be swayed to the Model Y long range instead, unless you are an absolute sport sedan type of owner. You want 4 doors, you want to be low to the ground for that suspension handling and all that. But very interesting stuff, because the first couple things that come that stick out to a lot of people is that it's got a 200 or 325 mile range, or it says 325 plus. So take that for whatever that could be worth. And on top of that, it's not going to be eligible for delivery until a month from now, or maybe even almost 2 months, because June, you know, that could be a whole month or maybe even a month and a half. But there's a couple things there, because that's interesting, right? Because there is a lot of Tesla Model 3 inventory in the books. I mean, we had a slight little dip for some reason, but inventory for the Model 3 has never been this high ever. There's almost 774 brand new Tesla Model 3s posted to the Tesla websites. And so there's a lot that could be going on here. And so a lot of people are speculating, right? We love to think about what could be coming next. But shout out to Dalton Thrasher. I know this is unlikely, but what if Tesla unveils the Project Highland at the shareholders meeting? And we know the Tesla shareholders meeting is coming up very soon. I want to say it's like in a month or now. May 16th, so in just basically almost 2 weeks from now. So what are the odds of this actually happening? Because we could be in the rumor mill a lot, and this, because it says June of 2023, maybe they're trying to align it with that, and maybe why they're being so tight-lipped about it right now, because let's face it, Model 3 inventory and Model 3 sales, a little bit tough right now. So if they were to release that it is the new Highline, no one is going to want to take delivery of the older vehicles, and they're going to have a tough time doing that. And on top of that, that could explain why inventory right now, at least the older inventory that's sitting in the inventory, is at the lower price versus the newest updated price. And so maybe they're creating this spread between old Model 3 and new Model 3 pricing and things like that. But who knows, right? I mean, this is what we know. A lot of people are saying the same exact stats, like Model 3 is back, long range 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, 325 mile range, top speed 145, and starts at 47,240 with a 3750 tax credit. Of course, here's another one from Jay Jeeves, another YouTuber. Model 3 long range available. Not sure if this is the Highland model because the pictures are the same and the range is a guess. What do you think? And so there is definitely a lot of speculation, but at the end of the day, we can speculate that it's the LFP battery as the same that's in the Model 3 standard range. And it seems like if that's the case, then you should be able to charge it up to 100% to get that full 325-mile range. But here's something interesting from actually Matt Jung, the creator of this website that shows all the different inventory charts. Quote, interesting little detail on the newly introduced Model 3 long range. It has a new model code. The model code for the previous Model 3 long range was MT324, and the new one is now MT328. So take that for whatever it's worth. We can always speculate as much as possible. I mean, it would be pretty interesting for anybody that is about to place an order on a Tesla and they place an order on a Model 3 long range, and you'll be maybe one of the first to get a Project Highland. Maybe, fingers crossed, right? But let me know what your thoughts on it. And so definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what you're thinking. I mean, it would be amazing if the Model 3 long range Project Highland comes out and it were at least is announced at the shareholder meeting in a couple weeks. I mean, you know, being me, I would love to hear more about this Cybertruck that's supposedly coming out in the next few months than a Model 3 Highland. But I mean, at the end of the day, Model 3 Highland for the sales, the Tesla shareholders is much, much better at the end of the day. But let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me, where you can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which is the ultimate buying guide that has all the links that I use to get the best possible deal, including credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing, some even as low as 3.7 to 2.99%. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And as an added benefit, I do respond to all DMs or direct messages in the Patreon app if you want to send me a quick message at a certain membership level. So definitely check it out. Link down below in the description.